Hi, my name is Susan Friedman, and I flew in from Chicago.
I'm Carrie Donaway, and I flew in from Orlando.
So you guys were telling me that you just met here.
Yes, I was walking from the Capitol, and I had a chance to meet Carrie.
That's what I was saying off camera. I was saying that's kind of what this is all about. Kind of is getting people together from different places and different groups. Is that what you're looking like? What are you looking forward to for this second march now?
For the second march, okay, remember the theme is March On to the Polls. I'm hoping that people remember that the march last year didn't stop just at the march. And if we don't stand up and voice our opinions, then our representatives are not going to represent us. They're going to represent their own interest.
And you?
It's the same. It's so important that we all get out to vote. So many of my friends, they like what I have to say, but they remain quiet. And those of us who aren't afraid to speak out and stand up and march and do what we need to do, I hope it gives them the courage to make sure that they do get out to vote.
And what's the one thing that you're hoping that's going to potentially be different this year? Because last year was a bit rough for us progressives, to say the least.
Well, number one is that I don't want our laws to be torn down. I want the free press to be out there. I want information to be real. I want it to be balanced. I want the choice of knowledge and the choice of deciding on what my choice is. So that's number one. I said, and then from that point on, the last year we've seen in the government, we've seen a lot of tear down of positive things that were happening, healthcare. Besides healthcare, my mind right now is sort of all over the place, so forgive me. I'm going to turn it over to you first.
One of the things that is just so disheartening to me is the dismantling through appointments into the different departments of our country. Our earth is our country. We were a leader on a global stage for the health of our earth, and that has been totally dismantled by this administration. It's not just this administration, it's the future that I'm so concerned about. Trump will go. He will go away. I'm more concerned about who will replace him and what the attitude of the entire country is.
And what his actions are going to be as far as the future is going to be. I'm glad you said about the earth. And the reason why is that I think that people think of the EPA as tree huggers. They're all scientists. They save lives. They stop cancers from occurring. And if we don't support the government agencies that do the right thing, and if we're not global enough in thinking the impact of what they do, then we're going to be suffering the ramifications of small-minded people.
Do you feel, because one thing that's really been talked about is the long-term effects of what the Trump administration will have over 4 years on kind of trust in government, believability in our leaders. Do you worry for that, or do you think that we'll be able to bounce back easy enough?
I think it's going to be really hard. First of all, I'm a senior citizen, and this man is an anarchist. And when you break down the government, if you think it's going to be easy to rebuild it, every elected official who's supporting his actions with no ramification is going to leave a long-term imprint on what is happening for our nation. And I'm afraid, history repeats itself. Everything he's doing the media has been reporting is very Stalin-like, it's very neo-Nazi, it's very dictatorship. We've already lost in the polls relationships with other countries. I'm very concerned. We have nuclear weapons. North Korea has nuclear weapons. If you've been listening on the news, India is testing their nuclear weapons. You're starting to have an escalation of fear, and it is, well, frankly, I'm contributing it to Trump.
Anything?
No, I agree. Another aspect for me is the opinion of the people. I think that this past election was very close. but I am concerned by the brashness, the loudness, and just the uncivilized manner in which the winning party, the Republicans, the Nationalists, that whole group, they're so loud. And I'm afraid that those of us that oppose that, we're more than 50% of this country, we're tired. We're tired of arguing with them. We're tired of fighting with them. They can be overwhelming, and that shouldn't be so. We need to continue to stand up, speak out, and march, and make sure that our voice and our opinions are heard. And we're not overpowered, and we don't become numb to it and think that just because that's the loudest voice, that's not the norm, and it shouldn't be. Being loud doesn't make you right.
In 1947, the U.S. government put out a video, and it was called Don't Be a Sucker. And you can find it on YouTube. And I think it's about 18 minutes, but it literally was about fake news. It was about splitting people apart and fear. And I really think everybody should listen to it. They should watch it and they should listen to it, because we have to look at our own values and we have to look at who we are and who we represent. And so it gave me a choice, it gave me new insight, it gave me an opportunity to see that history repeats itself, and I will not live in fear.